Hello there, and welcome back. And carrying on from those themes of reflection and inclusion that I brought up in Monday's upload celebrating International Women's Day, I wanted to take advantage of today to speak about the international music scene and non-Anglophone artists for a change. Now, it doesn't really come up that often because it's a bit gratuitous to scatter in everywhere, but for those of you who may not know, I am Italian. Yeah, I am Italian. And although it doesn't sound like it from my voice, trust me, I've spent 20 years there, so I'm very much immersed into the culture. And recently, over the past weekend, whatever time frame you want to call it, an indie rock band from Rome named Maneskin has just won our Sanremo 2021 music festival. And you may be sitting there thinking,
"Ah, but Fred, why should I give a flying fuck about some group in Italy when I don't understand what they're saying or even know who they are? Explain this to me, my good sir. Explain."
And I'll tell you, baby, 2021, with the ascent of artists such as Bad Bunny to like the top of Spotify streaming, and Selena Gomez publishing an all-Spanish album, and Billie Eilish working in cooperation to create some less Anglo-centric music, is really allowing international music to start sprouting out from below that underground scene and start to reap its head into the mainstream. So with this indie rock band, who I have been a very big fan of for the past couple of years, winning a national festival and electing to participate in Eurovision, I think it's about time we give them their moment in the spotlight. And please, if you will, as is customary here on my network, if you would grab yourself your hot caffeinated beverage and please caffeine up as you let the sweet aroma of ground coffee beans soothe your worries and let me distract you with my lovely rants.
And Fred, we know you by now. You normally don't talk about shit for just one reason, such as this one. Give us more. Spill your beans. Your beans!
And don't worry about a thing, babes, because I've got a reason why you may be interested. We're talking about an indie rock band who built themselves up from nothing and have won a national music pop festival. So the significance of their victory, I think, is really worth noting. Yeah, alright, Gregory, you on to me. And you may want to consider subscribing down below if you've liked what I had to say so far, liked my style and flair. I don't know, it would be quite cool. So, it's time to talk beans. I think that even in an overseas sense, an indie rock band winning an international music pop competition is a really big fucking deal. And this brings me to the song they won Sanremo with. The song by Måneskin, Zitti, Buoni, I want to consider an anthem to their identity as musicians and what they've done so far. And even though as a first listen, it may not show off the versatility that they've had throughout the years, I loved watching the performance live. This is a young group. Frankly, the fucking frontman is my age. He's a lot more attractive and taller and more successful. And I don't really know what his transcript looked like, but I mean, at this point, he could even be smarter. I don't know. It's depressing to think about, alright? But this is a performance-driven band. This three-man and woman ensemble is mature, polished, and is ready to just rock your shoes off live. Frankly, they have a Dan Electro Longhorn bass just kind of springling and sprangling in the front line, and I never see that. It's really cool. I like the bass. But it really reminds me of that Led Zeppelin and some of that Greta Van Fleet kind of debonair and showmanship that you get. And I love the energy, especially from an Italian band. The song itself really, as I've already played just not too long ago, has a really crunchy catchy beginning riff, frankly. It's energetic, it's rebellious, it gets you going, and accompanied with the vocals of Damiano, it's a really interesting mashup, especially because to the non-Italian trained ear, the vocal is a bit more talkative, it's a bit more almost rappy, it can sound in a way, and with all the influences that went into that, from Italian traditional music to blues to rock, I find that especially within the context of the mix and the live performance, it just seems like it shouldn't work on paper, but precisely because it shouldn't work on paper, it just works very well. Basically, this vocal, which seems a bit unorthodox, really fills in the gaps that the band leaves, and that little headspace at the top is really filled in, and it's sick. So A+ on showmanship, really good, but I'm not going to define grade on like catchy, funky, little nice riff to listen to. Very much like the Smith-Kotzen work. Nice level of gain. Like that's the one thing that always gets me. That's the one thing in my mind that really distinguishes production quality. Nailing that gain level, you know? Like, not too much, not too little, just enough to make the tone come across. Make it an energetic, active song, but not destroy the actual tone of the guitar, not kind of layer out those mids. It's very nice. And all this is accompanied by the verses and middle sections where, be it an influence of Italian music, be it an influence of being an indie produced band, or whatever you want to call it, there's a really strong emphasis on using that minor sixth within the lead section and the verse section, which should really make the song a bit depressing. And, you know, like it's one of the characteristic notes of the minor scale. Like, you know, it's supposed to carry that general feeling and motif with it, but it really adds some flair to it, which, as I was trying to figure out what was going on, it really surprised me. And it gives the song put together a little bit of originality, especially with the guitar tangling and hitting along those phrases and motifs in the bridge section, with the bass kind of countering and having the high end and the low end both do basically the same thing, but just with a little bit of timing in between to set them apart. It's interesting. It just keeps you involved. Not to mention A+ on showmanship, so, you know, it was all just a big, like, it was great. It was great. It's Italian, like, I'm so happy. Like, we have a great Italian rock band, and, you know, without even getting me on the best thing, I'm so used to listening to English music, I'm so used to listening to English vocalists and the patterns and rhythms and the cadence of English music. Having a different language come into play is just different. The space is kind of occupied in a different manner, the cadence is different, which kind of gives you that sort of rapish vocal, you know, that more talkative style that I just mentioned not too long ago, and it's really interesting. So all things considered, I know it's a bit of a quicker video today, and I'm hoping that you still found the topic interesting, even if it may not be the most mainstream thing possible, but I just want to do my own in supporting and talking about some events from my home country that I'm happy with. Like, it's good shit, and I don't think that the language barrier should in any way stop you from enjoying the music. Especially because even if when I'm listening to English shit, I barely pay attention to the lyrics anyway, so, you know, it's not too bad. So that being said, thank you very much for tuning in today. I must say I've been really happy to have the freedom to tackle all these different topics and see that generally I'm getting some decent feedback from it, so thank you for tuning in. I'm having a lot of fun with it lately. If you liked what I had to say, if you liked my debonair and flair, or the Italian nature of what I had to say, do consider subscribing down below, because more chats do be coming soon, and you may not want to miss out. And plus, the more you support me, the more I make sure that Gregory doesn't have a hard time for criticizing my fucking work. I see you there. The cameras aren't on forever, Gregory. But yeah, that's kind of it. Hope you enjoyed. I highly recommend you go listen to the extended catalogue of Maneskin, because it's really good, and I think it's about time we crush the language barrier and the dominance of Anglophonic music. Thank you very much. I'm fucking off.